variations. There's a great scene in Reichenbach where Martin is berating a police officer. I'm not I won't spoil it, but yeah, she's berating he's berating it's alright, this won't ruin it. There's one person I'm not going to ruin it. And he was improvising a scene, and it was great, and it was just a great scene. That's how we sort of free range to do that. Every take is different. It was great fun, and we try and vary it as much as we possibly can. We've known each other for 2 series now, so we puff each other very easily, and it's great fun. Great fun.
I have a question for Benedict and Steven. One of the things that characterizes the home stories is that we know virtually nothing about Sherlock Holmes. And I'm curious if Benedict and Steven and Mark Gatiss spent any time on the backstory of Sherlock and Mycroft and their antecedents.
No, not really. I don't think that's how you create a character. I don't think that's how you know a character. I don't think you know a character by creating a backstory for them. Never mind not knowing the backstory for Sherlock Holmes. I'm not absolutely sure that I know the backstory for Mark Gatiss. My best friend. If we look at each other, do you really know the backstory? So we sometimes speculate because we're interested in chatting about it. What's territory? What you did. But you know what? We're not. It's sacred turf. You don't mess that up. You don't bring that into the show. It's not right. There are some things we don't know about Sherlock Holmes, just as there are some things we don't know about our friends and we don't ever know. And that's right and proper. I think if we went and did something like that, in a way the audience would believe it. Say, nah, just made that up, like we didn't make the rest of it.
As an actor, it was one of the first questions I asked him, and that's a terrifying response to get, isn't it? You want to hook something of an understanding of how you've grown to be this exceptional, eccentric talent. And for me, it was important. It was important at least to know it. But like he says, all the best backstories are there, but not talked about. So I have an idea of who he was when he was growing up. I have an idea of how he became what he is as we see him now. We don't necessarily have to show it ever, but it's there, and it does inform the choices I make as an actor, playing his character. And I'd say, yeah, I don't know his backstory. I've got to know. No, I agree with what Steve says. It's vulgar to need to explain everything. It would make it so much more boring. But I think it's kind of important to have a little bit of a framework to hang in. The choices are always nice.
Hi, I'm back. I was wondering, do you, after playing Sherlock, do you deduce things about people? Like, are you walking down the street and saying, oh, that guy's totally...
Stupid. I try not to, because I think it's very dangerous. Sorry, is that the end of your question? Sorry.
No. Also, my friend, who's an amazing artist,
Yes.
she made you something. And she's a little fat. Yeah. And it's really awesome.
Can you show it from there? Or is it
it's very small, but she probably holds it up.
But answer the question, I was in the middle of an interview today on the phone, and somebody was dialing a number to extend the interview as a journalist to talk about the second series, and she put her hand forward, and I saw there were scratches on it, and I saw the pattern, and I went, have you been travelling with a cat recently? She had. The thing is, that's it. That's all it is. I reached dead ends. It's the phenomenon about him. To see the dullest detail and weave the most incredible, sometimes wrong, fabric of story and narrative out of it. And it's one of the joys of watching him do that and being in his company for Watson, I think, that drives the series. But I think, yeah, it's very tempting. I think we all kind of get our deducing heads on. I mean, these guys sweat blood and tears, and they are beautiful, beautiful bits of writing. They are phenomenal bits of writing. To learn that it's a darn sight hard as a writer.
I think it's worth saying that it's kind of a trick. It's Doyle's trick. He makes it sound really, really credible. But the absolute truth is Sherlock Holmes' main power is never ever getting wrong. So he doesn't. But
But you also have deduction file, don't you, which
yeah, when we think of one,
you think, well, you just go down and say, quick.
Your brain does, yeah, we do start to.
When you see something.
Yeah, I use that perception.
It's interesting because I'm actually not the super fan. I'm definitely a fan.
She brought us 10,000.
I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I gotta say, you're fantastic.
You love coupling, you're a Benedict Cumberbatch. You missed it.
Yes, and 2 pounds are beyond words. My friend with me is the real super fan. And I could not take credit for this question. However, the question sort of builds on what was already asked, which is, if you woke up and you suddenly had those powers of super deduction and amazing sort of perception of the world, would that change your life, and how?
I'd have a permanent headache. You look everywhere and see, a multiple of what is singularly in front of you. Everything suddenly starts to expand from one detail into a whole life history, or at least, immediate circumstances of a history. It would be a hard. It's the word, not talent, but blessing to wear easily. I think it's an extraordinary gift, but it must be quite interesting. Sherlock Holmes works at it incredibly hard. I don't think it always just comes to him. He looks for it. He's trained himself to do that.
Mind you, if you did wake up and discover you had that power, it'd be a bloody surprise. TL, this is good.
Hey, your screenwriter's going to
Yes. Bring that up.
What happened if you stay an actor?
Crikey.
Yes.
We're really off into metaphorical. Well, understanding patterns of behaviour and the details of life, it's a very sped up version of that. You'd have to kind of turn it right down to be an actor to get to still moments of calm and try to communicate with an audience rather than exploding and talking very fast. But I think, of course, I think I would. I think I'd like to try and shit it out, everybody. Sorry, Facebook.
Yes, oh, go.
First of all, I'd say that we took a bus 10 hours to get here from Raleigh. So, let's just get No, not at all. Can't say it. My question is for all of you. I've read some of the books, and they allude in the series, Study in Pink, how Sherlock, possibly has done drugs, and he's, recreationally used cocaine and morphine. I was wondering if season 3, are you guys going to try and explore that or anything? Somebody who uses drugs before.
Yeah.
I don't think it's the best avenue. One of the interesting things about the original stories is people become obsessed with the amount of time to take cocaine. It's not that many. He smokes more cigarettes, and I never mentioned that at all, than he actually does coke. And the trouble, he's only the first few, and I think Doyle realises kids are really enjoying distribute very little. The main run of the stories was barely mentioned at all. I think one of the things is someone. Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? Someone who takes coke now is probably an advertising piece. And you don't.
That's not a confession.
So I don't think it's at the same resonance. When Doyle wrote Over Holmes, it was an exotic thing to do. It's not an exotic thing to do.
No, it's a stupid choice, and exactly. He is addicted to his job and his talent, and I think if he's denied that, it's to nullify that sense you're lacking. It's to give him something else, and then it becomes very cyclical and addictive. But it's so rarely touched upon in the books. It's such a big deal that's made out of it. The fact that it is Achilles' heel in moments of tension where he is incapable of doing his job because he hasn't done it for a while, that's fine. But we have touched on it. we've made more than enough references to it. There's a whole sort of misjudgment on Watson's part in the first episode of it wasn't the first, wasn't it, of last season? Where he goes, "You come on," he goes, "Shut up." You know, he has a past. He has a past that Watson doesn't know about. So he has done it, or something like it. He's dabbled with drugs out of boredom. But, you know, it's about someone who operates at the highest level of his function, and you can't do that if you're inebriated on any level. So, you know, the only reason he does do it is when he's not functioning. He's not doing it.
We have time for 2 more questions.
Have the mic. So, I'll just quickly say I love the show so much. And although we don't have a story about coming 10 out or something, we're just right here from New York. My best friend here should be studying for her SATs this Saturday. But instead she's here with me because she loves the show too. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so question mostly for Benedict and Steven. You guys are obviously known for some amazing shows, and you guys get a lot of love and adoration, and Steven also some hate from a lot of fans. That's
my day, man. Good luck tomorrow.
What I'm trying to say is, because it's such a well-known show, series, also Doctor Who also, and fans are so outspoken and awesome and not straight-laced awesome often in the slightest. What are some of the weirder fan reactions you've gotten? Do people ever come up and try and quote things to you in the street? Or if you're filming in like a public place like one of those London intersections or say Central Park or something like that? What are the fans? Do you get weird fans? And what are they like?
More of you than there will be, I would say that. No, I've had some weird things, yes. But the best was actually a complete play on what was expected, because there were some weird things happening at one point. And suddenly in the post I got an Anne Summers wig. Anne Summers, it's a bit like Victoria's Secret, so it was a black wig with a red heart at the end of it. And hold your hand up, that means you sent it. But I thought it was a fan. It came with a big sort of mystery question mark kiss, and I just showed my face, it's crazy. And then went on the talk show and was asked the same question. Yeah, no, some strange thing. I got a whip in the post the other day. Everyone was because that first scene I'm working with Dava and asking what Bruce is for in the next 20 minutes, and then I and then my friends that I was telling the story to then saw me on the show in question, rang me up, and they were crying with laughter. They'd sent it to me. So yeah, weird and rightfully so.
And do you have anything?
I don't think I have anything, not particularly. I was here, we were shooting Doctor Who recently. Of the fan reaction. I was piling into a minibus with Matt and Karen, and all the fans were clamoring, and it really was fantastic, and they were shouting. I remember this very vividly. It was, "Karen, I love you. Matt, marry me. Moffat, could you put your head down there?" Lady who talked about giving me the letter to Mark Gatiss, who has worn a bow tie here, missed by one show. If you could just wait a second, I'll get you an email address. You can send it to me again. I'll get it tomorrow. All right, so just make sure you hang around, or if you talk to someone, and I'll get that sorted.
He did tell us about the letter.
But I didn't realise the significance of the letter. I'm afraid, look, I lose everything. People don't allow me to hold things. I lose airline tickets, everything. Yeah.
Very good experience. So, thank you for that.
So we have one lucky person with the last
This is actually a question for Mr. Moffat. Is there any chance we'll have a Doctor Who cameo? And who do you think would have the last word? The Doctor or Sherlock, or do you think they'd fight to the end of time?
odd meeting, and I don't think either of them would like it. I sort of always thought, well, I'm trying to imagine what that's such a meeting. They live in very different universes. I'm not really sure that's going to be well. But I always thought the meeting would be more fun between John Watson and Amy Pond. They'd be sitting there chatting away about what's your one like, what's your one like. John would be chatting her up, and it would be getting somewhere, and you'd both stand up.
So, you have been a fabulous, fabulous audience. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you. Get up and very carefully walk off the stage, but there will be autograph signing, and there will be a hug. Somebody is owed a hug, and a letter. And so, thank you for coming, and thank you to PBS for giving us the money to buy Sherlock.
Stay in your seats for just a minute. Stay in your seats. They're going to go ahead and get situated upstairs.